Hi, Tamily. It's time for our 65th Ask Tamily interview, which is going to be with Jessica. Her Instagram name is nonglamtam, so make sure to follow her if you aren't already, and she will be joining us in just a second.
And we're just connecting with her now. Hello!
I couldn't hear you, so I was like, oh no, it's wrong, but it's good.
Nope, it's perfect.
Okay.
So thank you so much for being our 65th Ask Tamily interview. We're so excited to get to know you more, Jessica.
Thanks for having me. I think it's a big honor, and I'm kind of like, I've only been streaming and, well, I've been streaming for a while, but I've only been posting for like 3 months. So I was pretty shocked to be asked, but I'm thrilled to do it. So thank you.
Absolutely. Well, we really want to try to talk to everyone. I know there's, a million people in the family, but it's really nice to see the differences. Like, with someone newer in their journey, further in their journey, newer to posting, or even people that don't post at all. So we're glad that you're posting. And we would like to start with our favorite question, which is when and how did you start with the Tracy Anderson method?
So I guess it would start with, and I think a lot of people answer this, that it started with Goop. I read a New York Times article that Gwyneth was starting this new thing, and I signed up right away to be on the emails. And I would see things by Tracy Anderson occasionally, but they were very personal for her. Like, hey, babe, here's this video, and I would watch them and go, this is kind of strange, but it was usually very short clips, and it didn't really seem to me to be a full program that I could follow, and I didn't really investigate it. I've been exercising a lot my whole life. Different things. I've run half marathons. I've done kind of more of like a CrossFit type thing before CrossFit existed. And then when I turned 40, and I felt like, well, that's kind of when genetically, even though Tracy said last week or 2 weeks ago, that genetically it's not all about our parents. But genetically, I've seen relatives that 40 was kind of the benchmark where things changed quite a bit. People who had been twiggy skin went, just a complete different direction. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have to fight a little bit harder than I have been, and what I'm doing is not working. So that's when I started digging in. I remember those videos, and I thought, okay, I should look this up. And I guess that was just when Metamorphosis might have launched, or maybe it was around the time. So I bought Metamorphosis. I hemmed and hawed for probably an hour taking that quiz. I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I was hip-centric. I was ab-centric. I finally said, okay, omnicentric sounds fine because it does everything. Yes. So I signed up. I still have it, my workout. And it's filled out. I was dedicated. There it is. Yeah. I filled it all out. And I really loved it from day one. It was strange, but I loved it right away. I thought, okay, I can do this. And liking something makes you want to do it more. So I was doing it at the time in my living room. I would bring up all my equipment before I went to bed, and put out my mat, put out my weights, put out my ankle weights, put out a chair if that was required. I had to watch when we changed after 10 days. Like, is there going to be a chair or not? And I did that, and the dance cardio, I did it every day. I mean, every day that the tracker said to. I think you rested every 10th day. Mm-hmm. And I had great results. I lost 13 pounds. I lost some inches. I felt great. And I would say that for about 2 years, I just kept that up. I bought Continuity. I did the first year of that. And then, I don't know if it's year 2 or year 3, but I think it's year 2. When I bought Continuity, it was an hour. And I thought, no way. I just don't want to do an hour. That seems ridiculous. This half an hour things to be working for me. So I redid year, 1 or 2, whatever year it was. And that's when I kind of stalled out for me. And I thought, I don't know if this is working anymore. I tried a couple of different things. And then I just was like, no, this is for me. And that's when I started streaming. maybe a month or two occasionally. I think last summer, not this summer, but last summer, I took like 2 months off, tried some more weightlifting type things. But this is right for me, and I love it, and I crave it. I want to get up in the morning and do it. So that's how I ended up with this.
So how long have you been streaming now? Has it been a couple of years?
That's a good question. I know I've been streaming for at least 2 years. At least 2 years.
Okay.
But I don't know exactly. I tried to figure that out. Like, when did I sign up? But I'm positive it's been at least 2. That's it.
So were you streaming before you even knew about the Instagram community?
Oh yeah, I was streaming before that. I was just, in my basement or finally in my Tam cave, doing this stuff, and I would tell people about it. I was like, this is amazing. I see people running down the street, and I kind of almost want to get out of my car and say, stop running. Stop. This is not going to work. I don't ever do that, so just in case anyone's worried. I will not be arrested anytime soon for that. I don't know how, sorry, I've lost a little bit of track of what I was saying, but I streamed for a while, and I had some problems with Wi-Fi, so that was kind of my bad.
Yeah.
It's the Wi-Fi issue, but I think she changed systems, and then everything kind of clicked, and I got a new system at home for the Wi-Fi that helped.
Excellent. So
I kind of got off track, I think.
That's okay. How long were you watching the IG community before you started posting?
Not terribly long, because I was kind of new to Instagram in general. I think I've been on Instagram for about a year, so I probably watched for about 7 or 8 months, and then I said, okay. What really helped me was my niece was with me at the beach, and she said she would show me how to do things, like, because I'd never posted. And so she helped me that first week. I was actually not at home. I was traveling, and that's how I just said, okay, take a deep breath. Let's just do this, because I think this is going to be good, and I'm glad I did.
So I have to ask you, how did you decide on your Instagram name?
I regret it. So my kids have actually told me, I have 2 teenage boys who are taking the PSAT right now, and they've been warned, just go away. But I guess I was thinking, I was seeing, the people I was seeing looked so glamorous. They looked so beautiful when they were doing it. And I was thinking, I usually have an old t-shirt on. I usually have on leggings, but I don't look like that. Like, that's not how my reality is, or at least that's not how I see myself. So it was a little of that, and a little bit more that I was like, this is what real Tracy to me looks like. Yeah. But I wish I had, I guess, loved myself enough to say, hey, why don't you just do Jessica Tamily or something like that? But it's there. It's now. I have, friends who know me as Non-Glam Tam, so here I am. But when I had to tell, at the studio, I did go to the studio, I had to tell LaShawna and Courtney that was my name. I was like, oh, that's my name. Sorry, I just felt so about it. But there it is.
I like it. I like the realness of it. So tell us about the studio experience since you've been to the studio.
So I've been to the 59th Street studio. I went mid-September, so that was the first time I've ever been in studio. I met up with Rebecca and Emily and Nikki and Beth and Margaret, and I loved meeting them. We did 2 classes in a row. Do not recommend that for anyone who's, as I was shaking driving home to New Jersey afterwards. I was shaking. I actually called my husband from New Brunswick and said, do you want to come get me? And he was like, no, handle this, and I proceeded to drive on home. But the heat and humidity is real. It's just, you can't, it doesn't stop. Like, in my workout room, it kind of comes and goes. It's not perfect, but she's got it figured out. So it's hot and it's humid the whole time. But it was so much fun. The minute you get on those floors for the first time, they move and it's amazing. And just the fact that I was there, I kept looking around at Rebecca and Nikki and Emily, and even though I'd met them on Instagram, I'd never met them in person. I was just smiling, even though I was exhausted. And I did leave a couple times in the first class to go get water. Actually, Lashana was out there, and she's like, "You're doing great. You can go back in, or you can just take a break. It's fine." So she was so sweet. But then I had practice to Tane. So I practiced to go to the studio. And so I really wanted to do a Tane, which was the second class. So I just said, I'm going to do it. And I was glad I did. Not driving home, but...
So have you ever met Tracy?
Have not. I guess because I've been doing it since 2013, I saw kind of when Vitality Weeks were starting and there were chances to go into the city and meet her. And I have to say my husband kind of talked me out of it because he said, don't go meet her. What if you don't like her? And then you'll stop. And he was really happy. The results were amazing. And so I thought, okay, yeah, if you ever meet your heroes, maybe it'll be disappointing. But everyone I've talked to has said that's not the case at all. So now it's kind of on my bucket list. I want to meet her.
Yeah, definitely. It's worth it. There's no disappointments. What would be your advice to someone that's new to the Tamily?
As far as Instagram posting, or as far as
well, both, like the Instagram posting and the workout.
So for the workout, I would say give yourself grace. It's hard to track someone who's doing movements and you don't know what's coming next. That's difficult, and I think you need to give yourself that week journey to master it. And I wouldn't say that I always master it. So I would say that, I wouldn't want anyone to think that day 2 or day 3, I'm like, I got this. This is so great. It's great. I love it. I dream about it. But it's not, I never feel that I've just got it down and it's perfect. So I would say give yourself grace. I would say make sure that you get a good mat. I think that's crucial. Get ankle weights and stuff that stay on. Don't cheat yourself out of it. Have partial equipment that doesn't really work for you. Because I had some ankle weights that just kept falling off, and I kept persevering with them, and I was like, why? This is important to me. Get the better ankle weights. I would also say, come up with a system that works for you. I'm a morning person. So I do mine in the morning, but I know it works differently. I know you're always up at night. You're up at night. Which I love, because when I see you sometimes at night, I'm like, oh, there she is. She's doing it too. But I would say come up with a system that works for you. And whatever it is, if it's that you have to do arms in the morning and legs at night, if it's that you just do start, and you do start for months and months and months and months. Because really, I did 30 minutes of start, what would be equivalent of start, and then dance cardio for many years, for 3 or 4 years. And I had great results. So come up with a system that works for you, and then own that system. Say, that's my system. That's the way it works. That's right. And then, there are going to be weeks and there are going to be moves that just don't work for you. I don't say that's every week, but the head does not work for me. It just doesn't. And I've tried it a couple of times, and each time I've regretted that I tried it even. So I just thought, that's me. That's okay. I know Tracy says to persevere, to push through these things that we see as our limitations. But for me, at 48, a headstand, I'm going to go with, that's a limitation for me. And be okay with that. Then maybe I might revisit that in 3 or 4 months. I'll say, okay, now it's different. But I think mostly just to give yourself the grace to see those people on Instagram who look like they've got it. But we all edit our clips. We all, sometimes I show things that are messed up, and sometimes I don't. So right. You might see me on a day where I just was like, this was great. Look at this. It's all worked out. But, that's one of the moves. It's not all of them.
Right, exactly. So, especially since you haven't been posting for that long, what would be your advice around the posting?
So I would say just make a goal of one clip. I know I see people who have a bunch of clips, and that was intimidating at first, and first I really did a lot of clips because I felt like you had to do that. But I think one clip is great. A sweaty selfie is great. I do think people who post at least something of themselves, when I only see pictures of Tracy or something like that, it's harder to make that connection than when I see them physically, even if it's just a sweaty selfie.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so how did you feel kind of after the first couple times that you posted?
Well, I was really excited because every time, some of the people that I've been following, when they asked to follow me, it was like, wow, and I just met Susan Rothman last weekend. We went and had lunch. It was fabulous. She's lovely. But I had been following her because she's in New Jersey. At one point, she had, her township on there. So I thought, okay, this woman's near me, and I thought, okay, I'll follow her. And so when she followed me, I was like, wow. I didn't even tell her this weekend, but I was like, wow, Susan just followed me, and she's probably like, whatever, Jessica. I remember when Christina for love of Peachy Bottom followed me, and I was like, yes, I have some of her tights. Her legs.
Yep.
So excited. That was really fun at the beginning. To have kind of moments.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it just makes you feel more, connected. And then you also realize, like, we're all parts of this community. I mean, there's something that feels a little famous about For the Love of Peachy Bottom, but, we're all, like, regular women just trying to be our best selves and fit this workout in our lives. And it's just, that's the part of it to me that, is so much more motivating, is having that connection. Like, I did Tam for a very short time before I had the Instagram community. Like, I don't know how some of you guys that have done, like, continuity for years just by yourself in a room, like, I couldn't find, even though I knew it was the workout for me, like, it made all the difference to have those people, online that you can see every day and making those connections.
Yeah, it's made a huge difference for me. I mean, I can actually see a difference in my body in the last 3 months because I think I'm showing up for myself at a different level. So I would say also to people who are new to posting, I really think that posting helps you, really think about the method in a different way and make more connections with people. And I think I take a few less rest days than I used to, which, I'm not saying that is all perfect or good or bad, but it's, and now I feel like, okay, I really want to connect with my Tamily members. So I'd like to work out today and experience what they're experiencing, especially if I hadn't done a class and I've seen other people do, I've been doing fundamental, and then they'll do a attain. I'll think, oh, I haven't done attain. I really want to do that. And then I have something I want to talk to them about. And I just think it's fun. So I really feel like posting has been a game changer for me.
So talk to us a little bit about your overall results. We do have a question in the chat from Nicole. She says, what non-physical transformations have you seen throughout your journey? So I know you mentioned, like, losing weight in the beginning, but tell us kind of about both.
Well, to be real honest, I've gained some of that weight back. So I would, just make sure that, and I didn't lose it and it was gone. I would say for about 2 years, it was really gone. But especially when I went back to work full time, it came back a little bit at a time, but it's kind of creeped up. My non-physical results would be, I don't worry about it. I don't worry about exercising anymore because it's just a part of who I am. I don't, I used to think, am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? And I did mention earlier that I did have I've had a couple of times where I've stepped away from the method, tried something else, and returned. But now, even more than ever, I'm really committed to this method, and I just know it's the right thing for my body. It really is. And so that worry, and I feel like a lot of us have it, that worry that, am I doing what I need to be doing? I don't worry that I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm doing the right thing. Now, with my eating, I probably still worry about that a little bit. I wish there was I know Tracy gives us meals and slaws, and still eating her slaw. She's probably taken it to New York City. But, you know, it's just not, they're great. And I love that information that she passes along. And I did follow, when I did Metamorphosis, her eating plan, like completely. I made all of those, like what I would consider baby food type things that I ate. I still occasionally make the chocolate chestnut thing because it's delicious. You know, so I worry more about what I'm eating, but I don't really worry about what I'm doing for my body. And that would be the biggest change. And I feel a sense of calm about it. That, you know, and even if I miss a day or miss a couple of days, or even if I miss when I go on vacation, unless I'm at a beach or somewhere that I'm staying for a while. If I'm like traveling, I see some people who are traveling in Europe and they're doing it. They are amazing to me. But I went to Europe for spring break with my children and my husband, and I didn't bring a single thing for 11 days. But I knew when I came back, it would be a couple of days to get back going. But the method would be there for me, and I would be right back in it. So that not worrying about it, I think, is a huge thing. Because I think as women, we kind of beat ourselves up over things, and just knowing you don't have to beat yourself up over this. You're doing it, and you're showing up for yourself, and this works.
Yeah, yeah. So, what have you done to make, you know, your routine, especially around your morning workouts? How do you make it work for you?
So I do all the setup the night before. So I go up to my space. I put a filled water bottle up there. I make sure my mat's laid out. And now I have a square mat, so it's already there. But I, you know, make sure the humidifier is filled. The heater's already there. I bring up my computer. Right now I have a phone and an iPad, but I plug them up in the room so that they're there in the morning. Then when I go to my bedroom, I take all my workout clothes that I'm going to need in the morning and I put them in the bathroom because then they're just there. There's no excuse. When the alarm goes off at 5:05, I just roll out of bed, go to the bathroom, get my stuff on, walk down the hall, and there I am. And, you know, usually by 5:15, 5:20, I push play. And it doesn't give me a lot of chances for excuses. The times where I forget to put stuff out and I have to fumble around in the dark, you know, or the computer's not up there and I get delayed, that's when I end up doing a half a workout or things like that. And it doesn't set me up for the day. So really, I would say especially if you have a space where that's not your space, like setting it out as you go to bed, I think that's really helpful.
Yeah, that is a really, really good tip. Definitely. And I'm never going to do AM workouts, but there have been times I've like occasionally done one, and you know, when you have everything ready, like it does just take away those excuses. That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
So, what's your routine around the actual workout that you do? Do you always do a Tane? Do you switch? What's your philosophy there?
So almost always now I do fundamental Thursday and Friday because usually I haven't had a chance to watch the breakdown when I wake up Thursday morning, and fundamental usually is much more straightforward. So especially for someone who's been doing the method a long time, I can pick up the moves fairly quickly. I don't feel like I have to stop and start a lot, which when I'm doing a Tane, sometimes I have to start and stop at the beginning. And I can fit it in the hour that I have. So that's why I do fundamental. I usually on Saturday and Sunday try to do a Tane. And then if a Tane is awesome and it's not over an hour, I try to at least fit in one or two more Tanes on Monday through Wednesday. If a Tane is still a struggle bus for me and I'm still, you know, really having a hard time with it, and I know that I'm going to start to have that panicked feeling like I'm not getting this done, I'm not going to be finished, it's going to be 6:40 and I'm going to still be in this room and I can't be in this room at 6:40, I have to be downstairs. So that's kind of works for me. Occasionally I'll throw in a start if I just feel like I need a quicker day or something's happening in my life where I need to get to my job earlier. But that usually the plan for me.
Excellent. And do you ever do dance cardio?
Not so much anymore. I used to do it religiously. I mean, and I know when you guys were at Vitality Week and you did the Ask Tamily, you mentioned that for people over 40, she said, you don't really need to do dance cardio, and I don't have the floors at home. So that's, I guess, reinforced that I wasn't doing it, but I miss it because it's so much fun. I mean, it's tiring, but it's fun, and I often freestyle. I actually recorded myself doing dance cardio today, thinking, I'm going to just get out of my Tamily, closet. I might as well just come all the way out, but I haven't posted it yet. I might prefer to do it with a t-shirt on also, and not just my sports bra. So be prepared, people. It's going to come. I want to do it because I just feel like that's part of, really putting yourself out there. I'll just do it once, and then we'll see.
Right.
But I do miss it, and I talked with some people that are doing like 5 minutes, and maybe I can add that in. It might have to be when I come home from work, just having it be a stress reliever. I might not be decked out in my Tamily gear. I might just have my jeans or something on, but just go up to the Tam Cave and dance for 10 minutes. I think that would be actually a lot of fun and would probably prevent a lot of snacking. So
that is a great idea. Definitely. And you have to post it. We're going to watch for it.
I really, it's a goal of mine before she posts the new week, I'm going to post me doing dance cardio. Probably tomorrow, because weekdays are harder for me to get that done.
Yeah, definitely. What would be your advice to someone that isn't new to the method, but they're just not feeling motivated?
I would try to think back about why you started it in the first place. So that would be for me. Or I would actually recommend, if you're not feeling motivated, take a week off. Take a week off. Give yourself a deadline. Like, I'm going to start back up again. I think most people who do the Tracy Anderson method are pretty dedicated because, yes, you are doing it often or at least the streaming community. You're doing it by yourself. There's a level of commitment and dedication that all of us have that I think a lot of people who exercise, they get to the gym, they chat, they do other things. We don't have that element in our lives. So I would say, take a break for a week. Maybe you just need a complete reset. Like, maybe focus on just getting outside or something like that. And then, make a day that you're going to come back to the method refreshed. Because I maybe, for me, having those few times that I have taken a month or two off, I've come back 100% more dedicated. And I mean, now I just can't imagine wanting to take that time off again after having done it probably twice in the course of the last 7 years. But the times where I stepped back, it's when I came back even stronger. So I would just say, something like a week. Try a week off. Try 2 weeks off, and then come back and see if you don't have a different perspective on it.
That's an excellent thought, because I always think about, like, fighting the rest or, like, being away from it, like, thinking if I even entertain that, like, I'm going to totally fall off track, which isn't true. But if you actually allow yourself to have the break that, like, your brain or maybe your body is desiring, like, that really, really makes sense. But, like you said, give yourself, like, a point in time. Okay, this is going to be okay. I can take this break, but I will come back. Like, that's definitely a different way to think about it than I think, like, especially because, we are also dedicated and sometimes can be really, really hard on ourselves for even, like, one day off of working out is, it's definitely not the end of the world, especially for bodies that are, used to working out regularly. Like, it really is okay to rest.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my body actually really craves it. So when I take a day off, I think to myself, well, I could. I mean, usually during the day, multiple times, I'll think, well, I could fit something in right now, couldn't I? And I try to say, okay, no, you said you're going to take a day off today. Go take a walk outside. Take Pepper for a longer walk. Do something you've been meaning to do, and just enjoy that you slept later. my internal alarm clock is pretty set, so I often wake up at 5 something on the weekends too. Try not to get out of bed, but I do often wake up kind of around when my alarm would have gone off anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, very, very dedicated. Have you faced any challenges in doing the method?
There are a few times where I've had some parts, especially shoulders, that have hurt, where I probably wasn't lifting out of the right space, and needed to take some time off when I really didn't want to and was not feeling that way. And I've seen some other people who've said that they've had some injuries. I would say I've had way more injuries when I was running and doing like heavy lifting and stuff like that. But those would be the times where I felt really frustrated. I actually in May I had gone to a salon, and I went out to my car to get some stuff, and I went back in and I fell. My shoulder, and it was, luckily, I would say, because of Tracy Anderson, I was able to catch myself pretty well, but I kind of caught myself with my hands and then went on my shoulder. And my first panic thought was, I'm never going to be able to do the Tracy Anderson method again. I was on the phone sobbing that I won't be able to work out tomorrow. He was like, but how is your shoulder? I was like, it doesn't matter. I don't care what, because I was bleeding. And he was like, I'm like, I don't know how to do Tracy Anderson tomorrow. And he's like, it's going to be okay. That was my first worry. Not so that I was embarrassed that all these people in the salon had seen me fall, because they had, and they all were up at the window looking at me. It was panic. I will not be able to do the Tracy Anderson method. Then I was extrapolating that out to doomsday. I'll never be able to. So yeah, that's funny story for me.
Oh my gosh.
I do love.
I think you're totally right, though. Just having that kind of like balanced strength throughout our bodies, I really think it does make a difference to be able to just even handle like something like as silly as falling. But it really does.
Well, when you think about what she says about when we're doing some of the moves, she'll even and I love when she talks at the end, and I'm so glad she keeps doing that. But she'll say, I have to figure out how to get this, and you can't see my leg, but this leg here, and I think having that brain power, for lack of a better way to describe it, really does help in situations where maybe you would get injured. And so I do think that the reason I didn't get more hurt or end up in the hospital is because I do this method. Because reflexes were quick, and my body was able to handle, because it was strong, the impact.
Absolutely. I'm glad you're okay. What is something you have learned from Tracy?
I thought about this a lot, because I have been watching a lot of Ask Tamily this week to make sure I was prepared for all sorts of questions. So I think I've learned from Tracy mostly a dedication, and the fact that you do have to work really hard if you want something, if you want to see results. I mean, all of us in the Tamily show up, and I'm saying this again, but we show up every day most of the time and do this method, and it's a hard work, and it's an hour long, and most of my friends who I talk to about the method, and I do talk about it, and haven't convinced anybody, they're just panicked at the thought of what all the rest of us do every day. So I would say that I've learned that from Tracy, that I really need to show up for myself, and that it shouldn't be easy. It shouldn't be. I truly believe if something's easy, you're not doing it the right way, probably in the move.
Yeah.
I would say there are moves that are less challenging than others, but I find like occasionally all of a sudden I'll switch things just a little bit, or I'll watch the breakdown again and I'll go, oh, there it is. That was what I was supposed to be doing all along. And I think that's what I've learned from her. I teach a lot. I teach a lot about brain science, and your brain likes new and unique things, and it also likes to be challenged. One of the things I tell my students is, if it's not challenging, you're not studying. So if it's not hard, you're not doing anything. So I think and I think this is a Rachel Hollis quote, but I think if it's not challenging, you're not changing. And I think that's what Tracy's been saying for many, many years. She just didn't have that, those words. But
Right.
I really feel like that's something I've learned from her, is to accept the challenge and to embrace it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely not supposed to be easy. All the gimmicks of like work out 20 minutes 3 times a week, that's not going to do anything.
It's not. And I will say, when I do start is super challenging. I mean, moves are challenging, and I think to myself, my goodness, what if this was day one? I was doing this, it was day one of streaming. And I don't know if I can handle this. So, I mean, that's something else I would want to say to anybody who's starting. Like, you'll get it. Like, it will be hard, and it's okay if you did 60% the first day. First day, I think I did 60%. And there were times where I just looked at the screen and went, huh? What are you doing?
Right.
So, it's supposed to be challenging, and that's why we're all seeing results.
Absolutely. So we have a question in the chat from Aggie, which is our favorite question asker. So her question is, at this point in your life, do you have any habits you want to ditch? And if so, how are you planning on doing that?
That is a good one. Let me think. What I really want to ditch. I mean, I would say the main habit that I'd really love to ditch is that I eat a lot when I get home from work. So that would be a habit that I'd want to ditch. There are lots of habits I'd like to start doing. Like, I'd like to floss more regularly. I would go to bed. I would actually like to go to bed earlier. I find, even though I'm a morning person, that time I get to spend with my family, especially my husband, who doesn't usually get home until later. And but I would really actually like to go to bed earlier. I think I would function the best if I got in bed at 9:30 and then was asleep by 10. But often it's 10:15, asleep by 10:45. My biggest habit that I would probably like to ditch would be that one that I eat a lot when I get home from work. Like, to find another habit to replace it with, like maybe just drinking a nice cup of hot tea. I've tried that. And sometimes the tea is great. And then I eat the chocolate or the, whatever salty snack I can find. So that would be definitely one that I would like to ditch. But I'd probably have to substitute something else in as a new habit.
Right. Definitely. Yeah, you can't just go cold off the chocolate.
No. So that would be, and also I do like to have something sweet after, like, especially after lunch at work. And so something that I would like to ditch too. Like, maybe I've been trying to substitute a small apple or something after lunch at work. But again, that's, normally if there's something yummy that exists at work, I will, if it's after lunch and I can find it, it's usually not hard to find at work. I'll have it and I'm like, oh, it's just because it's after lunch. No, it's not. It just shouldn't be. That shouldn't be the reason that I'm having something sweet.
Right. We have to make those conscious decisions like Tracy does. What is your favorite thing about the method?
I actually think it's that it changes so much. That, I mean, if you were to look back at what I was doing in metamorphosis and continuity, it's so different now than it was then. And my favorite thing about it is that it changes every week. And I thank her. She doesn't know me, she doesn't follow me or anything, but I say, thank you, Tracy, that you do that, because, if you think about other DVDs, and I'm sure we've all bought them in the past, that was it. That was the DVD, and maybe it had a Monday through Friday or a 7-day cycle or something, but for the most part, it was the same thing, and I don't know how anybody does that. My favorite thing is that it changes, and that it's a challenge, and I really do think that when I sleep, that my brain is going through those moves saying, okay, Jessica, this is how we're going to figure this out tomorrow. And that's why actually doing it in the morning for me is so great, because all night long, I'm sure my brain's been going through it, and sometimes I'm excited, and I don't know if I could wait till 5 o'clock to do it. I'm ready to go. So I love that change.
That's excellent. I don't know how. I could not be coordinated enough at 5 in the morning. I don't know. Those of you that do it then are amazing. Amazing.
Well, the thing is, I think everybody's different. And that's why I think I appreciate that people say super nice things to me when I say I've done it at 5:15. And I love that. Thank you very much. Feel free to continue to do so. But I think everybody works differently. So, I mean, it's wherever your energy peaks or, whatever works in your life. I mean, everyone has different kinds of jobs. They have little kids. They have people who are doing it with the little kids in the room, like Alex. And, I mean, all these people, I'm just amazed. I didn't know about this method when I had little kids. I mean, so 7 years ago, I had an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. They were pretty much out of the room. They were not at all interested in hanging out with mom when she was doing this. So these people who have their kids all around, and they're super cute. I love seeing them. Like, I'm like, oh, look at, she's dancing with, cute. I'm just so, I mean, that's what I would go back in time and tell tell my 21-year-old self graduating from college, here, this is what you can do. You would have such peace and, wonderful.
Yes.
So I feel like everybody's got to just figure out which works for them. So I don't think there is any one way. For me, that's what works. And I just, now I'm going to forget who posted it, but it's, I think her handle is like M3 something like, but she just said she just had to give up mornings because her body is kind of switched and it's not working for her now. She's doing after. And I thought, oh gosh, I hope that doesn't happen to me. But if it did, then that would be right for me. So that would be okay. So
yeah, and that's part of this method too, that you're supposed to be able to get to know yourself and listen to those kind of things. What are you drinking?
I am drinking Chardonnay because Cassie said I had to have a drink. So I only had something really nice in the fridge, so I hope I'm not in super dark trouble when my husband's like, why did you open that really nice bottle of wine? So I'm drinking a really nice bottle of Chardonnay right now. Very excited.
That's awesome. We should keep track of what people have drank during their Ask Tamily interviews. It's fun. What do your friends and family think of the method?
Yeah. People had a glass. I was drinking one. I was like, okay, I'm just going to open up a bottle and we'll just get started for the afternoon, and I'm just going to have a great day because I'll have already been drinking.
Yeah. And you already did your workout this morning?
I did attain. It was great. Some really challenging moves. My dog kept thinking that I was finished because she knows when I stop moving or when I move the weights that means we might go for a walk. So she done that last move where we did, I guess it was some rolling, and I was sitting there watching the screen going, what am I supposed to do? She started licking my face and like, oh good, you're finished. And I was like, no,
Aww.
halfway done. I'm not finished yet. I'm just confused.
That's so cute. What do your friends and family think of the method?
My parents are super sweet about it. They actually, my mom has talked to Christina because they bought me, I posted for my birthday. I basically had a tan birthday because ever since I've been posting, I was like, wait, I gotta get some stuff. So they're actually, I would say, very supportive. Occasionally at dinner, they'll ask me, how is the Tamily? That's my kids will ask me that. I think my parents, what I was going to say about them is they've been struggling because both of them have had a knee replacement in the last year. My mother had a C-section for me and my sister when C-sections were not what they are now. They cut through her muscles, and she never really, actually, until she ended up having a hysterectomy, had abdominal muscles that were connected. Can you imagine? From 25 until her 60, she had no connected abdominal muscles because they had cut them. So she struggled with exercise her whole life. I mean, it just wasn't something she really wanted to do. I mean, obviously now when she figured that out, of course. So they're very cute and supportive of it. They're always like, I can't believe you do this every day. So great. You're setting a good example for your kids.
Aww.
So that's very, very sweet. I do think since I've been on Instagram, my husband's like, you're on that a lot, So I think that is, he's like, what, are you on the thing with the Tamily? Yes, I am. But in general, they think the method's great. They'll, occasionally mention it. I'll hear them mention that I do it to other people. Like, Jessica, she really loves this. But August. Like, okay, I said, guys, you all seen me do this. I do this. Try it. I said, I know I'm not going to win the floor. I'm not looking for that. I just want you to try it. It's free for a month. No, crickets. But then they all say to me after, oh, I should have tried. You should have tried. You should have. But I don't think it's in everybody's nature to do what we do. So I feel like I have to give them, grace to not do it. But I'll keep sending it out every time. If she's going to give us a free month every August, I'll keep sending it out and saying, hey, here it is. Because I think just if I could get another person to do it, I'd feel really great. But no luck yet.
Well, and I think too, it's like the timing for the person, because even for all of us that are in the community that are doing it all the time, a lot of people had like rocky starts of doing metamorphosis and being like, yeah, that was great, and putting it away and not doing it again for a long time. So it depends on the timing too, and just continuing. You're not just a good example like for your kids, but for your friends and stuff too. Like, I mean, it's a really big deal to prioritize like your health and well-being and have a regular workout and be an example for people to see. And then too, they can see, even though you've done this for years, like there still continues to be changes, and it's still challenging. Like you're not hitting plateaus, so it's excellent. Not just in the Tamily community, but in all communities. So what is your philosophy about working out in general? Do we have a connection issue?
That works for you. Your passion, if you don't feel joy when you run or joy when you do the Tracy Anderson method, go find something else that really brings you joy. Because for me, once this clicked, it was exercise again wasn't a worry anymore. It was something that I wanted to do. So my philosophy, and then also I think you need to occasionally take a rest. So I guess I would have that be in my philosophy, is that I think sometimes you do need to take a small break, if it's a day, if it's a few days when you're going on a vacation, to rededicate yourself. So I guess that would be my philosophy. But I also think, that you have to challenge yourself. You can't just assume that doing the same old thing every day.
True. So we're getting close to the end of our interview. If anybody else has questions to type in the chat, go ahead and type them in. But we also wanted to ask you, and I know you talked a little bit about this, but where do you live and what do you do?
So I live in central New Jersey, and I am a teacher. I teach 5th grade science, but I am originally from Atlanta, so hopefully you heard a little Southern in me. And I always think of myself as being a Southerner, so I think that I will move back.
Do you ever visit there?
Oh yes, we go to North Carolina to the beach every year, times, and we go to Atlanta sometimes to see my family, but often people are coming up here. But we go to North Carolina every summer, multiple times.
Okay. Well, we might have to have a little Tamily meetup.
Yeah.
In the Carolinas, since I just moved from Florida to South Carolina a few months ago. So, yeah.
Well, South Carolina's on my prior to, so somewhere near there.
Okay. It is a great state. It's just a little too cold for me right now because it's already fall.
We had 30 degrees this morning, and it's not fun. I'm not ready. I'm never going to be every year.
I'm not at all. So Emily Hansen would like to know, what is your favorite non-TAM hobby?
It would probably be, at this point, reading. It used to be going to the movies. When I wasn't working full-time, I used to go to the movies every Wednesday by myself and just see a movie. 10 o'clock and have popcorn for lunch. So that was and if I could invigorate that hobby, I would, but I don't always have time on the weekends. But I love to read. I usually have something on Audible and something that I'm reading for work about education, and then something that I'm reading for pleasure. And I read everything. I read nonfiction for pleasure. For pleasure, I read trashy like bottom novels. I read the latest on the New York Times bestseller list. I just read everything. So I love to read. And I like to cook, too. I do love to cook.
That's excellent. I hate to cook, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah, right?
Right, you really do. It's very, very important. So while you have this audience with the Tamily, is there anything else that you would like to say?
I would just like to say thank you for just bringing me in and right away being so supportive. I've loved the last 3 months, and I feel like I've made some great friends. Sorry, my dog started to bark, but that probably means my son's coming home. But that's been really special to me, meeting all these people online who I now feel like close friends. A shout out to Emily. Emily and I have just been thick as thieves ever since we bonded over music. Suntan Life and I have chatted a ton. Amsterdam is a great friend of mine now, and there are just so many more that I just feel like every day are saying, not only being supportive and saying nice things when I post, which again I appreciate, but really connecting and reading what I'm writing and responding to what I've said. I've really, really loved that, and I just think that I really appreciate it, and I think that this is a special community of a lot of really positive women who are very dedicated to a method, and I think because of that, we have an instant connection. And when I went to New York City and met up with the Tamily, with Nikki and Rebecca and Emily and Beth and that whole group, it was instantaneous. I was nervous. We've talked. I know people have talked about this. Like, who are you? I'm going to go meet people I just met online. But in 3 minutes, I'm like, yeah, we're good. This is great. So I think this is a real special community, and I'm really pleased and thrilled to be a part of it. I'm glad I jumped in.
Well, we are definitely glad that you jumped in too, and we've loved getting to know you a little bit better and hearing some fun tips about working out. So thank you for being open with us and sharing and being our 65th Ask Tamily interview.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jessica, and thanks for watching, Tamily. Have a great weekend.
You too.